Let's get started. It's 10 o'clock. I want to appreciate everybody that has come to our webinar today to go over how we can make the TDS and SPQ filling out experience easy using your new third-party member benefit called Glide. Just a real quick introduction of who I am, just in case you don't know who I am. My name is Anthony. I work here at Orange County Association of Realtors, or I should say Orange County Realtors. I've been here now coming up on 17 years, started off in the MLS department. So I know guaranteed I'll speak to everybody attending today's webinar regarding rules, regulations, violations, all that fun stuff. What I'm also involved with is our outreach program. Our outreach program is designed to give you basically training on all your tools and products. So not only do I give training both on webinars or in webinar format and in-house classroom trainings at both here at the association and at your office on MLS, like how to run a search, add and modify listings, create CMAs, all that fun stuff. But I also train on zip forms. So how to utilize your zip forms from creating a transaction to creating templates, digital signing, all that fun jazz, to using your mobile technology devices. Basically, my goal is to try to make you the 21st century agent. And usually what I mean by that is to help you go paperless in your business. So again, today's class is actually going to go over one of your new free member benefit products called Glide. And Glide basically will let you, or actually let your client, your sellers, fill out the forms like the TDS, Transfer Disclosure Statement, or the SPQ. Now, are there any questions before we get started? Oh, by the way, just so you know, we are recording today's webinar, and every attendee that is attending today's webinar will get a copy of the webinar, but I will also post this webinar on my YouTube channel, so that way you can access this webinar at any given time. So that way you can, if I do go over something too fast, if you forget to ask me a question or anything like that, just know that you are going to get a recording of this, so that way you can watch it a million times that you would like. You can fast forward it, rewind it, pause it, practice some of the steps, things like that. Okay? All right. Well, very simply, as we all know, with zip forms, if we're in a seller's transaction, and usually in this transaction, when we create add documents to fill them in for our clients, like the residential listing agreement, we can fill in all these important fields to be able to get the terms negotiated, correct? Well, in zip forms, there are certain forms that we're not able to fill out for our clients. One such form is called the residential, or the transfer disclosure statement. The transfer disclosure statement is a form that is filled out by the sellers disclosing certain things that the property has that they are aware of, and of course disclosing any possible defects or challenges that the property might have in the purchase of this home. That way the buyer is actually fully aware of what they're getting themselves into. Even though, yes, properties are usually bought as is, it's usually a good idea to know what it is that you're buying. So a seller has to fill out this form. You'll notice here that in this form that we can't fill out anything here as the agent. Now, in the past, what agents have done is that they've usually taken this document and with the send button, email this document as a PDF to their client. Now the client prints it out, fills it out, scans it, resends it back to us. But now there's a problem. The problem is that sometimes with these small, tiny fields, it's hard to read people's handwriting in those small fields. So it's like trying to decipher chicken scratch. It's not very easy for us. Now, the other thing that we also can do in zip forms to get a seller to fill out, or sellers to fill out this form, we can send it out for e-signatures. Whether it's DocuSign or Digital Ink, I can actually send out this TDS document to have my client actually fill it out at the time that they sign it. The problem with that, though, is that if the seller accidentally fills out something incorrectly or doesn't fill out something correctly, now I've got to resend the contract for brand new signatures to hopefully have them refill it in correctly again. So lots of back and forth. Now we want to, make this easy as possible. Now, oh, by the way, there's also a third way that they can do this, and that is with the share button. The share button allows me to give access to the client for them to fill out the form live time. Now, the complaints that agents are getting from their clients is when they look at this document, it's overwhelming for them. It's not very easy for them to just sit down and actually go over a form like this to fill it out for you, right? So that you can disclose it. This is where your new third-party member benefit called Glide comes in. Now, if we just come back over here, Glide is your free member benefit, and I'm just going to go to where it says partners here. Here are all the different partner products that you as an agent could sign up for. One of these products is called Glide. Now, from here, Glide allows your client to complete their own disclosures, in this case, the TDS and the SPQ electronically, and it's really done super easy. As a matter of fact, what Glide has done is instead of looking at the entire form all at once, where people are overwhelmed with all the legal language and everything, it actually is formatted in such a way that it's more of like a question and answer style format. So it's really easy for a seller to fill out the TDS and or SPQ very easily, because it's now asking them in one-by-one question style format to allow them to answer those questions. So it's almost like sitting down with somebody and just saying, does your home, what are the following things that your home has? And now they can just check mark it off a list. Then we'll go to question 2 and question 3 and question 4. Now, what also is nice about this is that with Glide, you can merge your Glide account with your ZipForms account. Now, how we need to do all this, we need to actually sign up for Glide. So what we're going to do is we're now going to go over to the web, and we're going to go to the following website, www.glide.com. When we go to glide.com, here we're taken to the Glide's website, and all we need to do now is click on where it says Get Started. When we click on Get Started, we can now create a username, or type in our first name, last name, our email address, and create a password. Once we do that, we're going to click on Sign Up. Now, once we sign up, and I'm just going to log into my account here as an agent. Once we sign up for our account, the first thing that we're going to see here is all of our active style transactions that we've sent out to our clients for disclosures, this, that, and the other. Now, before we do anything here, we're going to come over to the top right-hand corner and click on our initials. When we click on our initials, what we're now going to do is choose our account settings. Now, here in our account settings, we need to fill out some of our profile information. Here, fill in your first name, your last name, or make sure that's filled in correctly. Put in your cell phone number. Maybe even your office number. Again, these are optional. Under your agent information, you're going to put yourself in, or put your DRE license number in. You're going to put in what state you're licensed with, what your brokerage name is, your brokerage address, website, so on and so forth. Maybe even put in your company logo. You're going to save this information. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to scroll right on down, and you're going to see a choice here as an agent to have a ZipForms or ZipForms Plus integration. So what you're now going to do is you're going to merge your Glide account with your ZipForms account. When you click on Connect New, you're going to put in your user ID and password for CAR ZipForms. So we click on connect new, you're going to choose CAR. When you choose CAR, you're going to then follow the three easy steps and connect your ZipForms Plus account, and then your ZipForms Plus account will be integrated. What this now means is that when I send out a request to a seller for a property, instead of creating something brand new where I have to now export the filled in PDF to then re-upload it into my transaction, what this will now do is I can look at my ZipForms transactions and then send out the TDS immediately to the client, or to the sellers. Okay, so are there any questions on that? Welcome, Natalie. Welcome, Jim, to the webinar, by the way. Okay, if there are no questions, after you link your account with Glide or link your Glide account with ZipForms, we're now ready to send out the TDS or SPQ to the client or clients. Very simply, back here on your main screen, and if we click on the Glide icon towards the left, here now we can look at all of our active style transactions that we've sent information to. We can now come over to where it says new. When we click on new, we're now given a choice of what type of packet are we going to create. In this case, we're going to create a new seller's disclosure set of forms. From here, we have our CAR account referenced based on our email address. Now we're going to search for a transaction. In this case, we have a new transaction in my ZipForms account called 124 Green Highway Drive. Sammy Hagen and Helen Hagen are the sellers. When I click on their transaction, it confirms the transaction. So I make sure that everything is correct, and now I'm going to say yes. When I do that, I now need to answer some set of questions before sending out the transactional request to the client. So here, add the listing agent. So, am I the listing agent for 124 Green Highway Drive? In this case, I am, so I'm going to say yes. Now, by the way, if your TC creates their Glide account, they could actually say the no and then reference you as the listing agent. So they could actually link their Glide account to your ZipForms. So they can at least get the TDS or SPQ or both filled out by the seller for you. From here, after we say yes, we're the agent, we now continue. What forms in this case am I sending out? In this case, I'm sending out the TDS or SPQ. If I just need to send out the TDS, I'm just going to get rid of the SPQ. I could add another form like the lead-based paint, the manufactured home, the parking and storage disclosures. I could send out a multitude of various other disclosures to my client. So maybe the exempt seller disclosure, the parking and storage, the HOA common interest disclosures, just to name a few. So I'm not just limited to the TDS or SPQ. I do have the opportunity to be able to fill out or have the client fill out the other forms. Now with the form selected, we're going to hit continue. Additional fields are required for the form that I've selected. Would I like to attach these? Simply yes or no. Am I aware of the property being in an HOA? I can say I don't know. I can say there are no other items to note at this time. Now I can say continue. And now here you'll notice that I'm the listing agent. I'm the packet admin, so I can now monitor what's going on with this transaction. Here we've got Sammy Hagen, who's going to fill out the form, but I could actually add seller 2 here if I wanted to, or any other recipients to receive these documents. Now when I hit continue, confirmation of everything that I'm going to send, So here, the TDS, the parties, myself, my client, remote location will be invited via the email. Here's the message that will go out, and now I can just hit send. So now, the email request has now been sent out to the client. So from here, while being in my own admin account, I can see the request for seller disclosures has been sent. I can monitor this, so in case they haven't seen it, or they haven't opened it, or they haven't filled it out, I can see that there. I can review the document. I can see the activity that's been going on. Here we've got the details about the property, the parties involved, and of course we got other things that we can do. So that's how easy we can send out the TDS to a client or to the seller to have them fill. Are there any questions here? Looks pretty simple, right? All right, so now let's go to our inbox. So I, as the seller, will now go to my email. And hopefully, oh, there it is. Oh, nope, it's not there yet. Wonder why it didn't go out. Let's just double check. Got to make sure that the emails are correct here. TonyOcar@gmail.com. Perfect. There we go. So now we have an email that says Anthony Bried via Glide has sent you a request. So the client clicks on the email. And I'm going to log out here real quick so I can show you what the signer will actually go through. So from here, it says, please complete the 124 Green Highway Drive seller's disclosures in Glide. So, hi Anthony, the seller. Now we can say get started. When they get started, they'll have to create an account. In this case, they're going to log into their account, or they're going to create their account. When they get their account or create their account and they log in, now they're going to follow the 3 easy steps of the introduction, the disclosure advisor, and of course preparing to disclose. So hi Anthony, let's start with your disclosures of forms. I hit continue. Here's the advisory of what we're about to do to complete the forms. Hopefully your client will read this and accept it. Now we're going to gather any other relevant documents now. So basically Glide is giving us, as the seller, a reminder to grab other documents to help us be able to properly disclose. So any past disclosures from when we first bought the property, any reports from our purchase of this property, any studies or repair estimates, any plans. So if I was planning to add on to the property, or if that was waiting for approval, any appraisal information I might have had about the property, and of course any invoices that I might have regarding my home for any of the items that might have been fixed or an order or anything like that. So now we're going to go and continue. So now we're going to go walk through the property, as it were. So it gives us a nice little reminder about this. By the way, it gives you a nice little way of, if I'm unsure of an answer, I can flag it, which will now send the selling agent or listing agent a notification that I have a question or I have a problem. The little eye icon is a help icon to give me an explanation of that question or of that choice. And of course, I can click on the little cloud answer, or everything is going to be saved as we go. So here, we're going to now hit continue. Now we're ready to begin to sign the TDS, so we're now going to hit begin. Now let's get started with filling out the TDS. We got 47 questions to answer. From here, we accept. Now we're going to answer number 1. Would I like to list any inspection reports? I don't have any, so don't know. Here we've got the property items. We're going to go through the property items that my house has. Am I still occupying the property? Yes, I am. And now I'm just going to go right on through and select what items I have in the house. So maybe I do have a range and a microwave and a dishwasher and an oven and a garbage disposal and wiring and hookups. And of course, I do have central heating and air. And we've got a public sewer system. So what we're going to do here, or as the seller, they now can very quickly and easily fill in what it is that they need. Oh, whoops. There we go. And we have a burglar alarm and smoke detectors and fire alarm and carbon monoxide. There we go. And exterior, we have a garage and sprinklers and a satellite dish. And of course, we got some other miscellaneous stuff, so none of those. And now we can hit continue. From here, is the garage attached? Yes, it is. Does your garage have an automatic door? Sure. How many remotes? 3. Where is the 220 garage? So here what we're now doing is filling out the TDS. So what type of roof do we have? I don't know because I'm never on the roof. Possibly. Do I know an approximate age of my roof? No, I don't. I've owned my home for 20 years, so it's at least maybe that. I don't know. Could be more. To my best of my knowledge, are the properties or any of the items listed below not in operating condition? No. And it says, of course, now that I marked no, I am aware that these items are probably in working condition, right? So there we go. By the way, we're 96% done with that. So now we're going to go to those defects. Are there any significant defects in any of the following? Nothing there that I know of. Property issues? Nope. Any features of the property shared? No. So what we can do is very quickly and easily answer these questions. No. There we go. Are you aware of the fill or compact? No. Are you aware of settling? No. Flooding or drainage, gardening problems? No. What happens if we say yes to one of these? Explain. Are you aware of any major damage? Crack in the patio. As an example. So if there is a yes, we can just fill that in. So if we answer some of these questions as yeses, we have to now give the explanation to those. Noise problems, yes. Back to a, or I should say, property backs up to the highway. As an example. No. So here what we can do is we can answer what we need. To get this done. So here we'll just go through this super quickly. Provide any additional information. There is none. So there we go. We can review our answers. We can look at the PDF as the seller. There we go. Here's everything that we've answered. We've marked on the property. We've now given our yes/no answers, and of course, based on our answers, what we had to do, it's all nice and neatly filled in, correct? So now, at this point, we can now hit continue. Has the property served as a primary residence? Sure. Now they can choose to protect, to add in, what is this here? Some legal protection. They don't have to do something like this, but at least it's offered to the seller if they feel that they need some sort of protection, just in case something doesn't happens and they get sued for non-disclosure or improper disclosure. That's something that's actually new with Glide. And now it's checking our answers and it's now submitting, and it says, congratulations, you are now done. Now, at this moment, in our zip forms, as well as our email, we should be sent a push notification that says someone has filled out your Glide. Now, at this point, what we can do, when we get that email sent to us, we can now go log back into our Glide account. When we log back into our Glide account, we'll notice here that the request of the seller's disclosures for 124 Greenway Highway has now been completed. From here, what we can now do is click on the down arrow and we can view it or open this up. We can see that this has now been completed by the client. If there were any questions or anything like that, we're going to see that it wasn't completed and that there were question flags here that we can now answer and send back to the client. Now at this point, what we can now do, because Glide is merged with my zip forms account, I can now send this document directly through Digital Ink and or DocuSign to my client. So maybe I'm using Digital Ink. So now what I can do here is send a digital signing request to the client or clients. You'll notice here that we're now back into our zip forms account. From here, we now choose the TDS disclosure. When we go next and we select our parties, and we go next, we're going to see here that the TDS will open up. And here are all the areas that were pre-placed based on their filling out. So all I need to do now is just hit send. And now Sammy and Helen and I will be able to sign and initial this document. So right from Glide, we can easily send out digital signing requests, whether it's DocuSign or Digital Link, to get the clients to now sign it. Or just be within our Zip Forms transaction itself. And I just want to show you guys this. I can go back into this transaction immediately. So I don't necessarily have to do this from Glide. And I'll see here that the areas have now been pre-placed. And in case you can't see that, I'm going to zoom in just a bit. And we see here are all those areas that they just filled out using Glide. Now I can just come over to where it says e-sign and send it out that way as well. So one of two ways I can send out our documents for digital signatures. That is Glide in a nutshell. Are there any questions regarding any of this? I know that this is actually a very quick webinar of about a half hour, even though I did plan out an hour. But are there any questions regarding any of this? Did it look like it was super easy to use? And would be for your client as well to actually use? Are there any questions? Well, if there are no questions, we are actually done for today. I hope that I get to see you all for our second webinar regarding Remind, which will happen at 1 o'clock today. Remind will be a great tool for those of you who are looking or who are marketing to try to solicit business. And what Remind will actually help you do is target market the areas of interest or those potential clients to that you want to look out for. So I think that will be a great webinar for those of you who are looking at marketing to get better business. So what we're going to do is actually make your marketing more marketing dollars go a lot further. Well, if there are no other questions, I want to thank everybody for attending today. And again, this webinar is being recorded, so everyone will get a copy of the recording today. Thank you so much. Again, if you need to contact me, feel free to email me. My email is tony@ocar.org. That's tony@ocar.org. You can also give me a call anytime. My phone number is 949-586-6800. My extension is 104. And of course, at any time, I also have a YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com, and from there you do a search on my name, Tony Bried, TonyBried. Here you'll see my YouTube channel. Just click on my name. And here you'll be able to access all my pre-recorded videos. This video will be up there, hopefully, if not by the end of the day, by Monday. So, again, I appreciate everyone for attending, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.